Who is the M23? To the world, they are rebels. To the Congolese government, they are outlaws. But to the Congolese Tutsi, they are the last line of defense. The name M23 comes from the March 23, 2009 peace agreement, a promise made by the government to integrate Congolese Tutsi into society, a promise that was broken. The M23 is not fighting for money or power. They are fighting for survival. For years, the Congolese Tutsi and the Banyamulenge have been hunted, displaced, and forgotten. Their government turned a blind eye as militias slaughtered their people. The M23 rose to protect them, to fight for their right to exist. At the heart of this movement is Sultan Makenga, a leader, a warrior, a hero to the Congolese Tutsi. To his people, he is a symbol of hope. Under his command, the M23 has become a shield, protecting the Congolese Tutsi from those who seek to destroy them. Men like Corneille Nangaa joined the M23 because they saw the truth, a government that abandoned its own people, a system that favored some and erased others. The M23 rebellion is not the beginning of the story. It is the culmination of decades of exclusion, violence, and betrayal. To understand the rebellion, we must go back to the people who started on the Banyamulenge. The forgotten people. Among the volcanic plateaus of eastern Congo, where the earth itself seems to breathe with life, a people fight to survive. To the world they are rebels, a code for foreign greed, a pawn in the never-ending wars over Congo's minerals. But their story is not one of rebellion. It is one of resilience, one of belonging, one erased by borders, betrayed by history, and condemned to war. This is the Banyamulenge narrative, a nation whose ancestors walked these hills centuries prior to the modern-day states of Congo or Rwanda. A nation who have lived within this nation for generations, only to be told they do not belong. Their cows grazed upon these plains. Their children were born within these valleys. Their dead are buried in this earth. Yet now, they are stateless, aliens in their own nation. The world hears Congo's conflicts as a resources war, a war for coltan, for cobalt, for gold. For the Banyamulenge, however, this is a fight over much more existential grounds, a right to exist. They are caught in the snare of colonial deception, political betrayal, and racial disdain. This is not so much a story of war. It is about identity. It is about belonging. It is about the suffocating weight of history, crushing. This is not their history alone. It is the history of Africa, of borders drawn in blood, of identities distorted by colonialism, of people fighting to belong. The struggle of the Banyamulenge is a mirror, one that reflects the broken promises of independence and the enduring wounds of empire. But their story doesn't end there. It begins centuries ago, in a time before borders, before betrayal, before war. It begins with a simple truth. The Banyamulenge are home. This is their place. Colonialism's poison. To understand the Banyamulenge's tragedy, we must return to the poison which still courses through the Congo's veins: colonialism. Belgium did not just colonize the land, they colonized identity. They militarized ethnicity and hardened fluid social classes into rigid racial ones. They branded Tutsi as alien Hamites, a superior Ethiopian race, and Hutu as indigenous Bantu. In Congo, the Banyamulenge were outsiders, a lie which haunts them to this day. The colonizers did not rest there. They issued identity cards, rigorously defining who was Tutsi, Hutu, or Twa. These cards were not mere pieces of paper. They were tools of domination, designed to divide and rule. The Tutsi, often considered more European in appearance, were elevated to the status of intermediaries, awarded privileges and power. The Hutu majority, termed native, were relegated to the margins. And the Banyamulenge, they were erased, their history rewritten, their identity stolen. Belgium's seeds of exclusion grew into a tree of hatred. Mobutu's regime revoked the Banyamulenge citizenship in 1981 on the grounds that only those able to prove ancestors before 1885 were real Congolese. For the Banyamulenge, this was unthinkable. They became stateless within the land where they had been living for centuries. But the Banyamulenge story is not just a story of victimhood. It is a story of resistance, of a people who will not be forgotten, a people who, despite everything, keep on fighting for their place in Congo's future. Congo's borders are a colonial invention. Millions of Congolese have ancestors from Angola, Zambia, Uganda, and Rwanda. Why are only Tutsi singled out? Because it's politically convenient. The Congolese Tutsi are a minority, an easy target. But their struggle is not about ethnicity. It's about justice. It's about the right to belong. The international community has failed the Congolese Tutsi. By focusing on Rwanda's role, they ignore the root causes of the conflict: decades of exclusion, state violence, and systemic injustice. The UN spends billions on peacekeeping missions. What good are soldiers when the real battle is for identity, for belonging, for the right to exist? The Congolese Tutsi are not rebels. They are not puppets. They are a people fighting for their place in Congo's future. And until the world sees their struggle for what it truly is, the bloodshed will never end. In 2012, the M23 rebellion erupted in eastern Congo. To the world, they were Rwandan puppets, a tool for Rwanda to loot Congo's minerals. The truth is far more complex. The M23 was born not in Kigali, but in the ashes of burned Congolese Tutsi villages. It was born from decades of state-sponsored violence, exclusion, and betrayal. It was born from a simple, desperate cry: we fight to exist. The human cost, voices from the shadows. Her words echo the pain of thousands. The Congolese Tutsi are not just fighting for land or resources. They are fighting for their identity, for their right to belong, for their right to exist. But their struggle is met with hate, violence, and indifference. The regime fuels xenophobia to distract from its failures. Minerals are stolen by everyone, but only Tutsi are blamed. In Kinshasa, politicians rally crowds with anti-Tutsi rhetoric. On social media, hate speech spreads like wildfire. The Banyamulenge are dehumanized, erased, and forgotten. The government uses the Congolese Tutsi as a scapegoat. They blame them for everything: the wars, the poverty, the chaos. But the real looters are the elites, the warlords, and the foreign corporations. The Congolese Tutsi are just trying to survive. The cycle of hate is relentless. But amidst the chaos, there is resilience. There is hope. The Congolese Tutsi are not just victims. They are survivors. They are fighters. They are Congolese. The Congolese Tutsi are not ghosts of Rwanda's past. They are Congolese. Their fight is not for minerals, but for a simple truth. Citizenship is a right, not a privilege. Until Congo confronts its colonial ghosts, the bloodshed will never end. In 2022, the DRC government agreed to review Banyamulenge citizenship claims. But no action has been taken. The Banyamulenge remain stateless, caught between a past they didn't choose and a future they can't reach.
I think something is going on. She's scared and she got shot. And when I checked, she was shot in the head. I was only 16. And I found out she's dead. She was not breathing. My dad called me. He said, "Judith, we have to go outside. I know your mommy is gone, but we're still breathing." 2 guys came. We thought that was the guys who's coming to help us. But we found out that was the killers. When they get there, they pour gasoline on my father, and he was alive. They burned him. And one of them told me, you gotta sit and watch, because if you try to go somewhere, we're gonna kill you. So I have to sit and watch my father get burned alive. But he kept telling me that you're gonna be fine, you'll be fine, I'm gonna be fine, don't worry about me. Until when I didn't hear him saying anything. So I realized he's gone, and one of the guys say, we should kill her too, and the other one said, no, she's not gonna survive because we finished all her family. Where she's gonna go? She'll die.
These are the words of a young Banyamulenge girl, one of thousands displaced by a war they did not start. Her story is not just about conflict. It is about identity. It is about belonging. It is about the right to exist. The Banyamulenge cannot fight this battle alone. They need voices to amplify their story. They need allies to demand justice. They need the world to see them not as rebels or pawns, but as people. This is not just about the Banyamulenge. It is about what it means to belong. It is about what it means to be human. Until the Banyamulenge are recognized as Congolese, until their citizenship is restored, and until their right to exist is affirmed, the bloodshed will never end. The cycle of hate will continue, and the promise of a united Congo will remain a distant dream. The time for empty promises is over. The time for justice is now. Stand with the Banyamulenge. Demand accountability. Share their story. Because citizenship is not a privilege, it is a right. And until that right is recognized, the fight will go on.